बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
और समर्थ बनाओ, बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार।
चंदन है इस देश की माटी,
चंदन है इस देश की माटी,
सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि करहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिरहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
Jai Shri Krishna, everybody. Om Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A hearty welcome to all the Geeta sadhakas who have joined the Geeta Pariwar for learning Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā with proper pronunciation and intonation. We are all indeed blessed to be a part of this divine family. And along with the Geeta recitation classes, as you already know, these weekend Geeta Vivechana or the interpretation sessions help us in understanding the meaning of the shlokas so that we can inculcate the values in our life. Today we are having the interpretation session for the first part of the 14th Adhyaya of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. As the saying goes, Tena vina trunamapi na chalati. So let us start with a prayer. Let us surrender completely to the Bhagavan and seek the blessings. To do the Arambha Prarthana, we have Srimati Shweta Rajesh Mehta ji with us. Srimati Shweta Didi is from Ahmedabad. She is interested in spiritual studies. She joined Geeta Pariwar in 2022 and she has cleared Geeta Jijnasu, Pathak and Pathik exams already. And she is doing Seva as a trainer, technical assistant. And I request Shweta ji Didi to do the prayer. Jai Shri Krishna Didi.
जय श्री कृष्ण जी वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु.
Thank you, Shweta ji Didi. That was a very nice prayer, very nicely recited. Thank you. Now it is time for Deepa Prajwalan. Let us ward off the darkness with the Jyoti. There's a beautiful shloka. Deepa Jyotihi Parabrahma, Deepa Jyotir Janardanaha, Deepo Haratu Me Papa, Deepa Jyotir Namostute. We have Dr. Shashi Balaji from Haryana with us. She holds MSc, MPhil and PhD degrees, and she's a retired professor in mathematics. She's interested in reading, gardening, and social service, associated with Geeta Pariwar since December 2023. She's offering Seva as a TA while pursuing her own Geeta Sadhana at level 3. Shashi Didi, I request you to perform Lighting the Lamp.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Shashi ji Didi. That was beautiful. We got to see the Dhuparati and Naivedya along with deep lighting the lamp. Thank you so much for giving us this auspicious start for the session. And before we proceed with the session, we have a quick announcement. As you already know, a new L1 batch is starting from tomorrow, June 10th, and Geeta Pariwar has added 2 new slots, a special Brahma Muhurta time slot at 4 a.m. and 9 a.m. IST batch as well. Please do share the details with your family and friend circles who might be interested in learning the Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Now it is time for the most awaited part of the session. Our speaker of the day is Shri Vikas Vaidya Bhaiya ji, and he is indeed a multifaceted individual. Professionally, he works as a mechanical engineer and owns an IT company in Pune. He is also an avid traveler and is a polyglot, fluent in many Indian and foreign languages. His spiritual accomplishments are equally impressive. He is a key member of Geeta Pariwar, serving as a trainer for all 4 levels and assisting in the selection and training of our trainers. Additionally, he is a trainer and interpreter of the Vishnu Sahasranama in Pune's Geeta Pariwar wing as well. Beyond his dedicated service, his personal spiritual practice is noteworthy as well. He has memorized all 18 adhyayas of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā, and he has won the first prize in the Geeta Kanthastha Pariksha from Paramapujya Jagadguru Shankaracharya ji of Shri Sringeri Matha. Remarkably, he recites all 18 chapters daily, which is a practice he has maintained for over 5 years. It is indeed our honor and privilege to welcome Shri Vikas ji Bhaiya ji to today's interpretation session on Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Vikas Vaidya Bhaiya ji, I request you to enlighten us with your expertise and spiritual wisdom. Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya ji.
Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudeva Sudan Devam Kaunsachanuramardhanam देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरणों में कोटि कोटि नमन। Today we'll start Adhyay 40, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The number of shloks in this Adhyay is 27. All shloks are in Anushtup Chanda. The speakers of shloka, one slok is from Arjuna and remaining 26 are from Lord Shri Krishna. Now, as we know, the name of this Adhyay is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. How this name has come and what is the subject of this Adhyay, that we'll discuss in brief. In Adhyay 13th, which probably you may not have studied so far, but the brief of Adhyay 13 is that in that Adhyay, Bhagavan Shri Krishna explained two beautiful concepts of Kshetra and Kshetradya. That Adhyay is Kshetra Kshetradya Vibhaga Yoga. So in Adhyay 13, Paramatma explained Kshetra and Kshetradya. Kshetra is our body. It is perishable. Why it is called Kshetra? Kshetra is like a farm. Khet. Why it is called that? Because as we sow different kinds of seeds in the farm, and then accordingly the crop comes. Similarly, in our body, through our body, we perform several karmas, and then we get those karma phalas. So Kshetra is our body. It is perishable. Kshetra is this Srishti, which is perishable. And Kshetradnya. Kshetradnya is imperishable, like our Jivatma. So this concept was explained by Lord Shri Krishna in 13th Adhyaya to Arjuna, and it was said that those who understand this distinction between Kshetra and Kshetradnya, perishable and imperishable, they get freed from Prakriti and the Vikars of Prakriti, the variations of Prakriti, the ups and downs of Prakriti, and they attain Parabrahma. So to understand this concept of Kshetra and Kshetradya was so very vitally important. And those people who understand this distinction and then act accordingly, perform their karmas accordingly, they are called Jnani. So many sages attained moksha with this jnana, with this knowledge. On attaining moksha, one does not get birth even after Mahapralaya. That is what is explained in this Adhyay, that after dissolution of this universe, one does not get rebirth when he gets that moksha. After dissolution, the universe gets recreated. But this person who has got moksha already, he does not get rebirth even when the universe is recreated. Now, Mahat Brahma, there is a concept of Mahat Brahma in this. Mahat Brahma means Yoga Maya as mother and Paramatma as the father of this universe. This concept is explained in this Adhyay. The Trigunatmak universe, Sattva, Rajotamo, these are the three gunas of Prakriti, of the universe, of the nature. This universe is created from this Yoga Maya as mother and Paramatma as father. Now these three gunas, Sattva, Rajotamo, these are the three gunas, they bind the imperishable Jivatma to the perishable body. This is what we learn in this Adhyay. Sattva guna binds due to the light of Jnana, wisdom, and due to the false pride that I have the Jnana, and due to attachment with that Jnana, he gets bounded, we get bound with the body. So Sattvic guna also binds the Jivatma. Not that Sattvic guna will give you moksha. Sattvic guna also binds. But through that false pride of the Jnana, of the wisdom that he has acquired. Rajoguna, it binds the Jivatma soul due to the kamana, desire, wish, lust, and sakam karma. That means you do the karma with the expectation of return and reward. So Rajoguna also binds the Jivatma to the body through kamana and through sakam karma. And then Tamoguna. Tamoguna is created due to ignorance, and it binds soul due to pramad. What is pramad? Pramad is something, you can call it madness. Pramad is something wherein you do something which you should not do, and you don't do what you should do. So exactly opposite of what you should do, you don't do that, and whatever you should not do, you do that. So that is pramad. Then laziness, alasya, and nidra, sleep. So these three are the attributes of Tamoguna, and they bind the soul to the body through these three attributes: Pramad, Alasya, and Nidra. Sattva means happiness. Raja means Sakam Karma, and Tama means ignorance, Ajnan. The Chetana and Viveka Buddhi, that means the discretionary analytical power, intellect, what Paramatma has given to all human beings, and the Chetana, the Paramatma's existence in our body, through which all the body movements take place. So that gets increased, Chetana and our Viveka Buddhi, due to Sattva Guna. As we do more and more Sattvic karma, that Chetana and Viveka Buddhi gets awakened further and further in us. While greed, desire, anxiety, it gets increased due to following the Rajoguna. While Tamoguna causes increase in that Pramad and delusion, Moha. Sattva takes you to the heaven. Rajoguna takes you back to the cycle of birth and death, Janma Bandha. And Tamoguna takes you to the lower spaces, that means the Nicha Yoni. The reward of Sattva Guna is happiness called Vairagya, because you get detached. Vairagya, that is dispassion. Rajoguna, the reward is dukkha, sorrow. Initially you may feel happy, but ultimately it gives you sorrow. And Tamoguna reward is Adyan, ignorance. Only one who has become Gunatit, that means beyond these three gunas, Sattva-Rajatamo, he only can get moksha. That is what we'll learn in this adhyaya. Because Sattva also binds you. Now how to become Gunatit? If Gunatit is a must for getting moksha, then how to become Gunatit? That is also explained in this adhyaya. One who is equipoised, that means he treats Sukha, Dukkha, favorable, unfavorable, respect, disrespect in equanimity. He is equipoised in all contradicting situations. He has relinquished karma phala, return reward expectation. And finally, he is doing meditation. He is meditating on Paramatma single-pointedly, with full focus only on Paramatma. Such a person can become Gunatit, and he can attain Parabrahma. Now, to attain Parabrahma, one has to become Tri-Gunatit. That means beyond these three gunas of Sattva, Rajatamo. And since this adhyaya explains these three gunas, Sattva, Rajatamo, as this adhyaya name is Gunatraya Vibhagayo. Gunatraya Vibhagayo. That name has come because of it explains these three gunas and how it binds the Jivatma to our body, and how to become Gunatit, and how to attain moksha. So this wonderful knowledge Paramatma is going to give in this adhyaya. With this brief background, we'll start with the adhyaya. Gunatraya Vibhagayo. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Atha Chaturdashodhyāyah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Param bhūyah pravakshāmi jnānānāi jnānamuttamam. Yajñātmā muniyas sarve param siddhimito gatāha. So param bhūyah pravakshāmi jnānānāi jnānamuttamam. Yajñātmā muniyas sarve param siddhimito gatāha. Param. Param is the supreme, transcendental. Bhuya. Bhuya is again. Pravakshami is I will tell you, I will explain to you. Jnananam, of all the knowledge. Jnanam is knowledge. Uttamam, best. Uttam, best. Supreme. Yat means which. Jnatva, after knowing this. Munaya. Munaya is Muni. What is Muni? One who does manan, that means who does contemplation, manan chintan, is a Muni. Sarve, all. Param is transcendental supreme, we have seen. Siddhim. Siddhim is that perfect siddhi, perfection. Ita, from this Manushya Loka, from this word. Gataha is to attain. So Paramatma says, I shall again reveal the supreme most knowledge. Having known this, all sages have been liberated. They attained moksha from this world and attained the supreme perfection, that means the Paramgati. So Shri Krishna says, I will again disclose the supreme most the highest transcendental knowledge to you, Arjuna, the knowledge of Parabrahma to you. This is because there is nothing more impressive, more invaluable than this supreme knowledge. Having known this, the human beings are freed from their slavery, all bondages, and get perfectly established in their pure self. So this gives you kind of Atma-Jnana also. See, no matter how fiercely the wind blows, it makes no difference to the space, to the sky. After all, how long and how far the wind can continue to blow strongly? Because space is boundless. And thus soon the wind gets contained. Its velocity automatically gets reduced. Likewise, the torrential momentum of mind is having full of anxiety of different thoughts coming here and there. Mind is fully occupied, running at a very high speed. So this torrential momentum of mind gets contained in the knowledge of self-realization. When we are on the path of getting that Atma-Jnana, self-realization, the mind starts getting calm and calmer. So all thoughts, they start subsiding like that. Wind gets subsides. Wind subsides in the sky, in the space. So no matter how excessive or pompous the thoughts are there in our mind, no matter how tumultuous the emotions are, how much anxiety is there in our mind, the supreme knowledge ends all the momentum instantaneously. All this anxiety of mind running up and down gets stopped. It ends instantaneously on attaining this supreme knowledge. And it is only such ones whose mind is thus totally stilled, who have attained the highest knowledge, they alone can attain the supreme Parabrahma, Paramgati. Such perfected human beings are known as Munis, sages. The one who contemplates, that means who does Manan, Chintan, is a Muni. The one who contemplates, who reflects, is a Muni. And by consistent and persistent contemplation, that is Manan, Chintan, the Muni finally realizes that Parabrahma is the only truth. Vasudevam Sarvaiti. The absolute truth. And that the world is no more than a play of Prakriti. Such an enlightened Muni, Jnani, then he regards the world as no more than a mere reflection in the mirror. This world, this universe is merely a reflection in the mirror. He knows that although a reflection is seen in the mirror, we stand in front of mirror, we see our reflection. Or whatever is there in front of mirror, you can see that reflection in the mirror. But in reality, there is nothing in the mirror. Are we there in the mirror? Or whatever mirror is showing the image, is that thing existing in the mirror? It does not. Similarly, although reflection, that is Prakriti, is seen in Parabrahma. This universe is seen in Parabrahma. There is nothing within Parabrahma. Parabrahma is like mirror. So thus, knowing this highest knowledge, the ultimate reality, the Munis are liberated and they attain perfection, Paramgati. So this is Parambhuyah Pravakshami Jnananaya Jnanamutmam Yajñatma Muneye Sarve Param Siddhamito Gataha. This is the introduction Paramatma has done. Now next sloka, slok 2. Ida Ijnanamapashritya Mama Sadharvyama Gataha Sarge Pinopajayante Pralaye Navyathanti Cha. Other Paramatma says, after this, that idam is this, jnanam, knowledge, upashritya is to take the shelter, take the refuge, mama, my, sadharmya, same like me, same nature, agataha, to have attained, sarga api, even in the creation, na is never, upajayante is to get born, pralaye is pralay, annihilation, destruction, dissolution, vyathanti is to get disturbed or perturbed. So Paramatma says, Idai jnanamupashritya mama sadharve magataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. he who thus, having taken refuge of this supreme knowledge and having attained my essential being, is neither born at the time of creation, nor is he perturbed at the time of dissolution of the universe. When the apocalypse, the dissolution of universe happens, it doesn't get perturbed, disturbed, and nor does it get recreated when this universe gets recreated. So basically, the one who realizes what the game is all about is out of the game. Once we understood the name of this, the game of this Prakriti, Paramatma, the creation, dissolution, we are out of the game. Having passed this test, such human beings, they exit the game. For example, in our childhood, we used to play a game of hide and seek. The devotee, the seeker, he seeks out someone by touching him. We used to run around, and one person, he will have the responsibility of touching somebody. When he touches that fellow, he is out of the game. That person is out of the game. Likewise, know that this world is akin, similar to that game of hide and seek. And once the Guru, this Atma-Jnana, seeks you out and touches you with the hand of knowledge, Jnana. When you acquire this knowledge, when this knowledge touches you, you are then out of the game of this world. The Guru says, you have attained that you were supposed to attain, so leave the game now. Leave the game now. Now I will continue playing this game with other players who are still ignorant. I will still keep imparting this supreme knowledge to them. Thus the enlightened Munis beings, they keep playing the game with the other ignorant people. Slowly, one by one, they keep giving this knowledge, and everybody is out of the game, getting moksha. And such beings who are out of the game of this world, they do not re-enter the game. Moksha. If after getting moksha, they don't re-enter the game. They are thus not born at the time of creation. Moreover, as they no longer are a part of this game of creation, they are not disturbed. They are not agitated by the dissolution of this created world. Nothing can affect you when you are out of this nonsensical game. What is nonsensical game? It is nonsensical because it is repetitive cycle of birth, youth, old age, sickness, and death. Then the sperm and ovum are produced from the food that we eat. Their union creates the conceptuous, which grows into a baby. The child grows into adulthood, then again young age, then old age, then sickness, and finally dies. The ashes get dispersed in the water or in the soil, and these feed the crop, which produce again the food grains. So when food grain gets digested, again it produces the sperm and ova, male and female, and this cycle of again birth, young age, old age, sickness, death continues. The body is formed of elements, 5 elements. Then at the death, it re-emerges with those very elements, Panchamahabhuta. We are born without teeth, without hair, and in old age, we again become toothless and hairless, isn't it? So no matter how much oil you massage on your head or healthy diet you eat, the hair are not going to grow back again. There are many who do yogasanas with the motivation of staying young. They go to yoga classes for staying young, wanting to retain their physical beauty. This is their objective of doing yoga. Such people are so scared of getting aged, of their aging, so scared of dying. They follow yoga, but yoga should not be just for retaining youthful body. There is a vast difference between those who perform asanas for maintaining a healthy body, which is needed for gaining spiritual heights. Of course, you should have strong body, of course, yes. And those who perform asanas to increase their longevity so that they can further pursue the sensory world. Good body gives you good pleasure in the sensory world as well. As it gives you strength for your spiritual path, it gives you further enjoyment in the sensory world as well. So there are people who perform yogas for sensory world. There are people who perform yoga for marching ahead on the path of spirituality. When the devotee, the seeker, performs 2-3 hours of asanas in the morning, then it is not because he is afraid of aging or ill health or death. Rather, he wants to stay healthy only because he can serve the Paramatma, his Guru, his Master, so that he can purify his mind, so that he can follow the precepts taught by our scriptures, by his Guru, so that his body does not become an obstacle in his spiritual journey. If the body falls sick, then can we march ahead on the path of spirituality also? Not possible. So he's maintaining good body through asanas, through yogas, for this purpose. So his spiritual path, and then instead it becomes helpful tool when his body is strong towards attaining the spiritual goal, what he has set for himself. Now coming back to this shloka, Shri Krishna is saying that those who attain the supreme knowledge of self-realization, Atma-Dhyan, they get liberated. Hence, they will not be born at the time of next creation of the universe. Okay, fine, understood. Now herein there are two schools of thoughts. One school says that even after self-realization, after moksha, getting that Atma-Dhyan, the enlightened being is subject to even 7 more births. This is one school of thought. So that he can light the lamp of knowledge for other ignorant people. But the awakened being stays free of bondage in these 7 births also. He remains free of bondage. He enjoys this world detachedly, no attachment. The person who is taking a stroll in the garden, for example, and the one who is walking to a market for buying some household things, both are walking. One is walking in the garden and one is walking in the mall or in the market to buy something. But the one strolling in the garden sees the walking as an enjoyment, whereas the other fellow regards this as a thankless job. His wife has asked him to bring something from the market and he's compelled to do that. So he's not enjoying probably that, walking in the market. Thus, even if there are subsequent rebirths, the enlightened being regards his life as a joyous journey with no bondage, a vibrant festival. This life is for him as a vibrant festival, no bondage. And even if he is not subject to rebirth anymore, he stays unaffected. Birth or no birth, he is ever liberated. So there is no question of any bondage for him in his next life also. See, to be desirous of not being reborn, this desire also is a bondage. This is also a kamana, no? That I don't want to get reborn. This is also a bondage. A Jnani has no such desire. He is not afraid of rebirth because he knows that in my new birth also, I am going to get detached from this universe. Finally, I am to get moksha. So he's not bothered about rebirth also. The Jnani, the awakened one says, no problem. If I have to yet again take the birth, go through the cycle of getting born, youth, old age, I am ready for that. I will detachedly watch the fun of others' attachment, but I will not get attached with anything. I will be watching this game when my parents in the new birth will suddenly exclaim, "Oh, my child." I will watch it peacefully. So indeed, only a self-realized being can truly enjoy all the fun and games of this life. Because he alone is well-versed with the art of living. Thus, where he has to take 3 or 7 more births, he is not more subject to any or no rebirth. It makes no difference to him. 3 births, 7 births, or no birth. No problem, whatever it comes. He is already awakened. Okay, with this we go to the third shloka now. Mamayo nirmahad brahma tasmin garbhan dadhamyaham sambhavas sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Mama, mama is my. Yoni, yoni is the source of birth. Mahat, mahat is means this Srishti, materialistic world. Brahma, Brahma, Parabrahma, Supreme. Tasmin, in that. Garbham, garbham is the pregnancy. Dadhami, dadhami is I create. Aham, aham is I. Sambhava, sambhava is possibility. Sambhavana is a possibility. Sarva bhutani, or living entities. Tata, thereafter. Bhavati, to become. Bharata is used for Arjuna. So Paramatma says, Arjuna, know that the great Prakriti, that means this Trigunatmak Prakriti with three gunas of Sat Parajotamo, Maya is the womb, and I establish the seed of Chetana into this Maya. Maya is the womb, and I establish the seed of Chetana into this Maya. And thus all the living elements, all the bhutas originate from the union of this inert Maya with the ever-conscious Chetana. The Panchama Bhuta, the five elements, are like five children, and Maya is akin to that expansive womb. And just as the sperm impregnates the ovum and embryo is established in the womb, the Lord says, I impregnate the womb of Prakriti with the seed of Chetana. Now Prakriti, the womb, the inert, whereas the seed of Chetana is ever conscious. Prakriti, the womb is inert, jada, whereas the seed of Chetana is ever conscious. And the union of inert with the ever conscious leads to the birth of baby called Panchamahabhuta. The Panchamahabhuta are created with Maya, and Maya as the womb and Paramatma as Chetana. The inertness of Prakriti and the sentience of ever-conscious Parabrahma, their union thus leads to the emergence of Panchamahabhuta, the five great elements, Panchamahabhuta. Further, Paramatma says, Sarvayonishi kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahadhyonir aham bijah pratapita. Paramatma says further, Sarvayonishu, in all yonis, means all species of life, human yoni or horse, they are all yonis, no? 84 lakh yonis are there. So, in all yonis, Sarvayonishu, Kaunteya is for Arjuna, Murtaya is the form, Sambhavanti, to appear. Tasam, all of them, Brahma, the Parabrahma Supreme, Mahat Yoni, the source of birth in this material world, Prada, Prada is the seed giving, Hita, Hita is the father. So Paramatma says, Arjuna, whatsoever diverse forms are produced in this universe, in all species, know that the Trigunatmak Maya, Trigunamayi Maya is their womb-bearing mother, and I, the Parabrahma, the seed-giving father. So this universe has come into existence from Trigunamayi Maya as mother, and I, Parabrahma, as the father. No one can evade the charm of Maya. The Maya sits at the concert of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh as Brahmani, Kamala and Shivani respectively. What's more, the Maya sits as the idol deluding the Pandit. It is Maya which delude the Pandit, the idol, the Murti that we see in front of us every day in Puja Ghar. The Maya deludes the intellect of Pandit or a worshipper, who in turn deludes the masses into believing that God resides only in the idols. This is Maya, that the God resides only in the idols. It is Maya. Sant Kabir, he used to say that the flows as holy as waters of Ganga, Yamuna or Saraswati, they are all Maya. And deluded people, they believe that taking a dip in this water absolves them of all the sins. This too is the trick of Maya. So Paramatma says, see, when there are people who are the experts in Vedas, they are called Vedantists. So they refer to Maya as Prakriti. The Sankhya Yogi, they call the same thing as Prakriti, while the Tattva-Gyani addresses the same as Ajnan. So whether you call it Maya, whether you call it Prakriti, or whether you call it Ajnan, all refers to the same entity. Kirpurta says, Prakriti is the mother and I am the father from which all this entire universe gets manifested. Let's proceed on to the next shloka. Sattvam rajasta maiti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibaddanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Sattva. Paramatma says, Sattvam rajasta maiti guna prakriti sambhavaha. So Sattvam is the mode of goodness, Sattva guna. Raja is the mode of passion, Raja guna. Tama is the mode of ignorance or darkness, that is Tama. Iti thus guna. Guna is the gunas, quality, attributes. Prakriti, the material nature. Sambhava, the produced of, created of. Nibadnanti, gets tied down. Bandhan, nibadnanti. Mahabaho is called for Arjuna. Dehe in this body. Dehinam, the living entity. Avyayam is avinashi, eternal. So Paramatma says, Sattvam rajastamiti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Sattva, that is purity. Rajas, that is movement, activity. And tamas, that is darkness or inertia. All these three gunas are born of Prakriti. And they tie down the indestructible Jivatma to the body. Now this is going to be interesting. Sattva, the purity. Rajas, the movement, the activity. And tamas, the darkness, inertia. All these three gunas are born of Prakriti. And they tie down the indestructible Avinashi Jivatma to the body. Rajoguna leads to movement, activity, thinking, restlessness, agitation. Tamoguna leads to lethargy, inertia, sleep, alasya, all that. Where love, joy are experienced by virtue of Sattva-guna. These three gunas bind the jiva such that it forgets its indestructible nature. These three gunas, they bind the jivatma, which is avinashi, indestructible, but he forgets that and instead gets attached to the body, identifies itself as a body. Jivatma forgets that he is avinashi, he is not body. This body is I, this body is mine, this is my father's body, this is my father, this is my wife, this is my child. It gets stuck in the bondage of me, mine. Because the Jivatma, it gets attached with the body. That is, body is me. Then whatever relations of body are there, he considers those relations as his relations. My father, my wife, my child. Thus, identifying with the limitations of finite body, the infinite, the imperishable Jivatma starts believing it is perishable. And thus, it becomes afraid of death, of old age, of sickness, of pain, of grief. Because it starts identifying itself with the body. If it gets detached from the body, then all these Vikas, you will be free from them. All these worries, you will be free from them. But because he identifies himself with the body, and how he identifies? Because of these three gunas. Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. Now how they bind each of these to the body, that we'll see in the next few slokas. But Sattvam Radastamiti Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha Nipadnanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. One realizes after death, this Jivatma realizes after death that I was unnecessarily putting this soul under bondage with the body. This was all a game. I am really free. I had nothing to do with the body. I was not at all that body. I unnecessarily thought that I was that body. Now that body, without that body also I am doing well, no? I am free. See, it is like some bank manager thinks that the bank is running, working because of him. But when at the time of retirement comes, at the time of retirement, he realizes that there was nothing as mine in this bank. The bank will work without him also. And it does. I unnecessarily tied down myself with the bank for the whole of my life, when actually I had nothing in the bank. I was not belonging to bank. I was working there. It is like saying, normally we say that I live in Pune, I live in Mumbai, I live in Delhi, I live in Calcutta. Do we ever say that I am Pune, I am Mumbai, I am Delhi, I am Calcutta? We are living in that. So similarly, Jivatma is living in this body. And if you get transferred from Pune to Delhi or Delhi to Calcutta, this Jivatma gets transferred from this body to that body. But because when he acquires that body, he identifies himself with the body, the whole problem comes because of that. Anyway, now we'll see how the different gunas, they bind the Jivatma to this body. Look number 6. Tatra satpan nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukasangena padnāti jnana sangena chanadho. Paramatma says, Tatra sattvam nirmalatvam prakasham kamanamayam. Tatra, there. Sattvam, this mode of goodness, sattva guna, nirmalatvat, being in the purest in this particular world, nirmal, prakasham, illuminating, anamayam, without any sinful work, any sinful reaction, no papa karma, sukha, with happiness, sangena, sangha is association, badnati, the conditions, jnana, with knowledge, anaga, anaga is someone nishpap. Anaga is used for Arjuna by Lord Krishna in Gita many times. Anaga is someone who is sinless, nishpap. So Paramatma says, Sattva guna is luminous, prakasha, by virtue of its pristine purity. And it binds by creating attachment to the knowledge and happiness. See, Sattva guna also binds Jivatma to the body. And what are the binding factors? Knowledge and happiness. The attachment to knowledge, attachment to happiness becomes a reason of getting Jivatma, getting bonded with the body. He is binding with the body is because of these two, knowledge and happiness. See, knowledge then, be it of any kind, it emerges from Sattva guna. Your creative thinking, your logical reasoning, your knowing the music or poetry or painting or any art, any knowledge is due to Sattva guna. And those who by virtue of their Sattva guna acquire any such knowledge, thereby they become egoistic of gaining that very knowledge. I am a good painter, I am a good musician, I am a good singer, I am a good speaker, I am a good orator. So they have got the knowledge, fine. But attachment to that knowledge, that causes Jivatma, that bondage with the body. So attachment to any kind of knowledge binds. It is ego which proclaims that I am an excellent musician, I am the best orator, or I am a highly proficient scientist, for example. I know many languages. I am well versed with all scriptures. Sattva guna is pure, pristine, and it imparts joy to the jiva. But if the jiva gets attached to the happiness experienced because of that knowledge, thus the experienced joy, the acquired knowledge, it throws a rope of attachment around the neck of that jivatma. So that rope of attachment and egoism, ego, around the neck of human beings, that also comes from Sattva guna. And that is the reason Sattva guna also binds Jivatma to the body, because of knowledge and happiness. This to become attachment of Jivatma, getting bondage with the body. Now how Rajas guna, how does it bind to the body? 7th sloka. रजोरागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संगसमुद्भवम् तन्निबध्नाति कान्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनम्. So Paramatma says further about Rajoguna, how it binds. Rajo, the mode of passion. Raga Atmakam, born out of desire or lust. Rag is attachment. Vidhi, vidhi is to know. Trishna, Trishna is very strong desire. Liking something, the strong desire is Trishna. Sangha is association. Sadbhavam. Samadbhavam is getting created, produced. Tata, that. Nibadnanti is to bind. Kaunteya is called for Arjuna. Karma Sangena, by association with karma, that is Sakam karma. Wherein you expect some return reward of your karma is Karma Sangena. Dehinam, Dehinam is all embodied people like us. So Paramatma says, Sattva Guna, now Rajoragatmakam. Now we are discussing about Rajoragatmakam Guni. So know that Rajoguna, it emerges from Kamana, desires. Rajoragatmakam Vidhi, Trishna, Sangha, Samudbhavam. So Rajoguna, it's getting emerged from Kamana, desire. And it ties down the jiva to the karma, Sakam karma, and to the attachment to the fruits of karma. That means karma phala. So karma and karma phala, which are the typical characteristics of Rajoguna, they become a reason of getting Jivatma bondage with the body. Rajoguna is attachment, Rajoguna is desire, Rajoguna is yearning, and Rajoguna is the attachment to the objects of this material or sensory world, sensory gratification. Indriya Sukh is all Rajoguna. Thus, Rajoguna binds you through attachment, whereas Sattva binds you through ego. I am knowledgeable, that ego. And Rajoguna binds you through the attachment. Desire, a deep yearning for sensory material world. I want this, I want that, and more of this and more of that. And the more one gets, the more attachment increases, and its noose tightens more and more around our neck. The Rajoguna also tightens the rope around our neck due to karma and karma phala, Sakam karma and karma phala. So we have seen how Sattva Guna binds Jivatma to body, how Rajoguna binds Jivatma to body. Now how about Tamas? Tamasi. So Tamasi Guna binds. Next sloka, Paramatma says, sloka number 8. Tamasatvam jnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasi nidra vistanni badnati bharata. Tamas. Tamas is the tamasi god, that is mode of ignorance or mode of darkness. Ajnanam, produced because of ignorance. Vidhi, vidhi is to know. Mohanam, mohanam is mohitavana, delusion. Sarvadehinam, of all the embodied entities. Pramad, pramad we have seen. What you should do, you don't do. What you should not do, you do. So that is madness, pramad. Alasya, alasya is laziness. Nidrabhi, the sleep. Tata, that. Nibadnanti, to bind. Bharat is, of course, for Arjuna. Paramatma says, Arjuna, know that the Tamoguna is born of ignorance, deluding all embodied beings. Mohit karta hai Tamoguna to all embodied beings. It binds Jivatma through laziness, listlessness, inertia, lethargy, and sleep. Now, Tamas, that is darkness, has emerged from ignorance. And it mesmerizes, hypnotizes our chitta such that we forget our real identity, our real self. In reality, we are Brahma. Or to make it simpler for us to understand, we say we are Jivatma. We are not body. Parabrahma, okay, jane do. But at least we are Jivatma, that we can understand. But we don't realize ourselves as the Parabrahma or even a Jivatma. Instead, we regard ourselves as the body. Now, why this? Because of ignorance. It is out of ignorance that we ever see ourselves as the body. And what is the nature of body? It is changeable, destructible, and perishable finally. So when you see yourself as the body, you think you are finite, perishable, and changeable. Just as you need to remove the colored glasses, if you are wearing blue glasses or green glasses, you have to remove those glasses to see the pristine whiteness of a pearl. Otherwise, you'll see the pearl also as green or blue. So you need to remove the identification with the body. This glass of identification with the body has to be removed to see that we are indeed the imperishable, pristine, pure Jivatma or pure Parabrahma. See, Tamoguna is born out of ignorance and it gives you pramad. We have seen what is pramad, the sloth and the sleep. When you don't feel like doing anything, that listlessness, that inertia is also known as pramad. When you are languishing around idly, not doing anything, this is known as laziness. And the lethargy is soon followed by sleep. If you keep lying down doing nothing, you go to sleep. This is all Tamoguna. A seeker should well be aware that inertia, laziness, and sleep are his enemies in the path of Adhyatma. Thus, you should be vigilant of all of them at all times. So, this is a small story. A master had 4 shishya, 4 disciples. One day he gave them a task of laying down a concrete road. It took them several days of hard work to complete the task of constructing that small piece of concrete road. And then they asked the guru, the master, to check their handiwork. The guru inspected the road and shaking his head in disapproval, saying that, oh, this is not correct. He finds so many flaws here and there. They say, no, no, destroy it and make it new again. This happens 2, 3, 4, 5 times. They construct the road, this fellow goes and says, no, 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 this is not correct. Remove it, make it new. So his wife was good. His wife was observing all this game for many months and she was surprised, saying that these people are working so hard and you are always disapproving them and asking them to work again. Why you are doing what you are going to gain out of all this? The guru replied, the master replied that I want them to continue until their inertia, their laziness, their lethargy does not get completely eradicated. Until I am certain that they have become acutely vigilant and don't waste their time in laziness. I will continue with this activity. And this goes true for all of us. So be aware, be vigilant that we don't waste our time in idleness, in sloth, or in excessive slumber. Because it is only when we get rid of lethargy and inertia that we can become a seeker, a disciple, or a sadhak. And only then can we perform the spiritual practices properly. A lazy person is shackled by ignorance, and unless that inertia is rooted out, one cannot become aspirant, he cannot become sadhak, cannot do any spiritual practice meaningfully. Knowledge comes at a much later stage. Discipline to aane to pehle, knowledge ke baad ki baat hai. So knowledge comes at a much later stage. Only if he relinquishes his lethargy, then there is a chance of knowledge coming. So we'll have to firstly be able to practice yogasanas. Now, suppose you follow this path of yogasana, and the day we start performing yogasana, the teacher, he gets upset with us. This is not correct. You should try harder and harder. And the teacher, suppose he insults you in front of a group of people, then you get conscious. And then you start to do it, try to do it perfectly. Then it is possible for you to do it correctly. So why dishonesty in the first place? Why don't we do right in the first place itself? This is idleness. Those who get strongly admonished, their lethargy disappears and their yogasanas also improve. The question is, why not do it before somebody rebukes you, or somebody fires you, somebody admonishes you? The task of the guru is indeed challenging, too hard for this kind of approach, to make the shishya not to run away, but still get it done from him. with proper words. Santa Kabir used to say, the Guru is like a potter, kumhar, and the disciple is like that earthen pot, matka. Guru beats the earth with a wooden stick from outside to give a proper shape to it, that earthen pot, to that matka. A form he gives by hitting with a small wooden stick. At the same time, he is keeping one hand inside that matka, inside that earthen pot. This way, he molds the disciple. Low, hot, blow, cold. इधर से support भी देना है, उधर से ठोकना भी है. So remember, if you have not been severely reprimanded, you have not been admonished, know that our surrender is incomplete. Don't get upset because the Guru uses some words which you don't like. Because then you are not given the Guru the permission to deal with you the way the Guru feels right. If you get upset with Guru's words, then you are not given the permission to Guru to use the words he feels right to bring you to this path of Adhyatma. Okay. Let's go further. Look number 9. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavrittamah pramade sanjayatyito. Sattvam. Sattvam we know very well now. Sattvam is that mode of goodness. Sukhe. Sukhe in happiness. Sanjayati. Sanjayati is to bind. Raja. Raja mode of passion. Karmani in sakam karma. Jnanam knowledge. Avrita. Avrita is to cover. Tama. Tama we know. A mode of ignorance, darkness. Pramade. We know pramad also in badness. Sanjayati binds. Uta. Uta means it is said. So Paramatma says, Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavrittamah pramade sanjayati. Arjuna, know that Sattva guna attaches one to the joy, Rajoguna attaches one to the sakam karma, while Tamoguna, it covers, shrouds the knowledge of the time. It covers the knowledge and attaches one to pramad. Pramad is that thing which you don't know what you should do, and you do what you should not do, and you don't do what you should do. That is pramad. So the Lord talks about the effects of these three gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tamo. Shri Krishna says, Sattva guna leads to the experience of happiness, Raja guna leads to the sakam karma, and Tamo guna, it shrouds, it covers the knowledge and keeps you as ajnani. Actions are born out of desire. If there is no desire, there is no action. The mind is driven by desire, and it leads to one or the other action. Whereas the mind that is free of desires is steady and one-pointed. When there is no anxiety of kamanas, desires in the mind is steady and one-pointed. And whenever the mind is still, calm, it leads to the experience of joy. So whenever the mind is under the influence of Sattva guna, that means it becomes calm and steady, thus leading to the experience of happiness. What's more, this one-pointed focus of the mind can come from anything, even watching a movie. Now, we may think that that movie is making you happy, but it is not the case. It is your focused, calm mind that imparts the feeling of joy to you when you are watching that movie. Thus, know that the joy does not come from external object or person, rather the joy comes from within. Now, whenever mind is calm and composed, this inner joy gets reflected in the mind. The reflection of full moon in a pool of water depends how steady the water body is. If it is steady, the reflection of the moon in that water body will be well formed. Otherwise, it is not. Likewise, when our mind is unsteady, our mind is wavering or agitated, the joy of that ever blissful Paramatma is not reflected in our mind. And thus we don't experience the joy. So when you desire, you are longing for some object, the mind is in the stage of agitation. turbid. Like that water pond can become turbid, the mind becomes turbid with agitation. But when you obtain the said object, the mind becomes steady, and then you experience the feeling of joy. Now this joy, this happiness actually comes from within. But it is our misconception that we believe the source of joy to be outside. Remember, the outside objects or people or events can never be the source of joy or happiness. The joy, happiness always comes from within. All the joy that you have experienced, know that it has always come from within. If it was the proximity of such a pursued, let us talk about boyfriend and girlfriend. So much pursued girlfriend that was making you happy all these years, then this happiness ought to last forever, as long as she is actually with you. But the day she becomes your wife, whether the same joy remains. You expect the object of your desire to make you happy, but you don't realize that it is not the object, but rather the reflection of inner joy into your steady, integrated mind, which imparts the feeling of happiness. So the happiness comes from within. You can remain happy with the girlfriend when she becomes your wife for the whole of your life, but it's coming from within. It is your ignorance which deludes us into thinking that the joy comes from outside. The wise people, the jnani, they perform all their worldly activities, and they know that wearing clothes is not going to make them happy. Good, beautiful clothes. Eating food is not going to make them happy. Relationships are not going to make them happy forever, and so on. He knows very well that the joy of being happy, the joy always comes from within, not from external things. What's more, the joy is unadulterated, unmixed. You don't have to do anything to attain it. It comes automatically on its own accord. Just close your eyes and go into that realm of world of meditation. Then you can enjoy that joy because the mind is still. A jnani is not enslaved into doing anything or any. He is not enslaved to anything or anyone, any event also. He is totally free. No bondage whatsoever. Now contrast this with ordinary people like us who are enslaved to everything that we face in our life. Krishna says, Sattva guna gives happiness, Rajaguna, it propels into action, Rajaguna forces us to get into act because it has a desire to get some result, reward, fruits. And Tamoguna, it covers our time. It shrouds our knowledge. Rajaguna awakens the desires, and thus its influence, under the influence of Rajaguna, one keeps doing something or the other. Rajaguna keeps us active all the time for the fulfillment of desires. Because our mind is full of desires, and Rajaguna puts a jack on us to do that work, that karma, so that the desires get fulfilled. So this is how the three gunas, they come into act. Now further, Paramatma says, slok number 10, Rastamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata, Rasatvam tamaschaivo tamasattvam rajastatha. Raja we know, mode of passion, Tamo we know, mode of ignorance, Abhibhuya. Abhibhuya is to cross over, to surpass. Sattvam we know, mode of goodness, Sattva. Bhavati, to become prominent. Raja, mode of passion. Sattva, mode of goodness we know. Tama, mode of ignorance we know. Eva is like that. So Paramatma says, Sattva guna, it prevails by subduing Rajasa and Tamasa. Sattva guna, it becomes dominant by subduing, by pressing Rajaguna and Tamoguna. Rajaguna becomes predominant by subduing Sattva guna and Tamas guna. And Tamas guna becomes dominant by subduing Sattva guna and Rajasa. You know, this is like that WWF match which we see on TV. Many years we used to see, I don't think we see it anymore. The wrestler who is in that ring, he is getting beaten by 2, 3, 4, 5 people. So this Sattva Guna, when it prevails, it starts beating the other two gunas. When Rajoguna starts getting dominant, it starts hitting the Sattva Guna and Tamas. And when Tamasa Guna starts getting dominant, it starts hitting the Sattva Guna and Rajasa Guna. Now, which Guna you want to predominate? That is entirely up to you. If you subdue Rajasa and Tamas, Sattva Guna will increase, predominate. To restrain your Rajasi and Tamasi activity, Sattva Guna will automatically prop up, will increase, will predominate. And what will Sattva Guna give you? One pointed focus, and that is what a devotee needs. But when you want to work, perform some action, then you definitely need Rajasi Guna. And hence at that time, you subdue your Sattva and Tamo Guna and let the Rajasi Guna prop up, becomes predominant. And when you are tired, after day's work, the whole day you have worked, you want to go to sleep, and that time you need Tamo Guna, because Tamo Guna is sleep. So that time you have to suppress your Sattva Guna and Rajasi Guna and go to bed with Tamo Guna. So on an average, a healthy person needs about 6 to 7 hours of sleep. And for this, Sattva and Rajasa need to be subdued, so that the Tamo Guna increases and brings upon the sleep, because sleep is Tamo Guna. Tamo Guna provides the body with much needed rest and restore. People often use sedatives to induce sleep, which otherwise eludes them, as they are very stressed out mentally. But we should avoid taking sedatives, as they have harmful side effects. Instead, the best remedy for any kind of stress, that it is, whether it is physical or emotional or intellectual, is Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra. Now, what is Yoga Nidra? Yoga Nidra is something you lie down in Shavasana, and the trainer, the guru, comes and he touches each part of your body and puts it to the rest. We can discuss this some other time, Yoga Nidra. So Yoga Nidra imparts you the total relaxation at all levels. If the body needs sleep, Yoga Nidra will give you restful sleep. It is not only physical relaxation, but regular practice of Yoga Nidra also imparts emotional and intellectual relaxation. Thus, do not use sedatives. Yoga Nidra is sleep with awareness of surroundings, not deep sleep. Sleep, but with awareness of surroundings, is Yoga Nidra. So Shri Krishna says each guna predominates. Each guna predominates by subduing the other two gunas. What this means is that you are an adept player. You will know which guna is required at what time. There are times when you need Sattva Guna, there are times you need Rajoguna, there are times when you need Tamo Guna. So you know best which guna should dominate when. And accordingly, subdue the other two gunas. The one who knows how to utilize gunas will not be enslaved to their effect. But normally, we try to suppress Sattva Guna and keep our Rajasi dominant all the time, which is also wrong. So if you want to meditate, but feeling sleepy, then what you should do? We have many options. Either get up and move around, or do some physical exercise, or dance, or loud chant of some mantras. Dancing is a good way of dispelling any inertia of or lethargy. So dance without any inhibitions. But in short, all gunas have their own utility. But you need to know which guna should predominate at what time. Thus, you should know how to manage the gunas. And those who don't know how to manage them, such people will become enslaved. They will get caught into the trap, into the grip of Maya. On the other hand, the devotee who knows very well how to use these gunas, utilizes guna appropriately for his spiritual upliftment. He knows when to be sattvic, when to be rajasic, when to be tamasic. So this is art of living. This is a skill. See, if you happen to cut your finger by a sharp knife, you don't throw away the knife. You need it in future, no? Likewise, know that tamoguna is not bad or unwanted. Neither is rajoguna. It is just that you should know how and when to utilize them. By being aware of their working and understanding the way to manage them effectively, you will be able to emerge from that grip of Maya. Maya should not play with you. You should play with the gunas and drive away that Maya. So this is an art of living, how to manage these three gunas. Okay, we go to next shloka, shloka 11. Paramatma says, Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanayada vidyad vivruddham sattvamityato. Paramatma says, Sarvadvareshu, in all the gates, dehe asmin. In the body, with Sarvadvareshu, we have nine gates. Navadvari pure dehi, we have learnt in 5th adhyay. 2 plus 2 plus 1 and 2 for disputal body waste. So total 9 gates. Okay. So Prakash, the quality of illumination. Upajayate, to develop. Jnanam is the knowledge, of course. Yada is when. Tada, at that time. Yada and tada. Vidyat, to know. Vivruddham, to increase. Sattvam, Sattva mode of goodness. Iti taha, thus it is said. So Paramatma says, Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanayada dada vidyat vivruddham sattvamitya. When the light of Chaitanya, it illuminates the senses, the mind and intellect. With the emergence of that intellect, that is the faculty of knowing, then it must be known that Sattva guna has increased. When that faculty of knowing has increased, it has become active, your intellect has become active, and you want to pursue knowing something, then you know that your Sattva guna has augmented, has increased. The Lord is now describing the signs of predominant guna. Shri Krishna says, when Sattva guna is predominant, there is enhanced awareness, wakefulness, both within the senses and the antakaran. Sleep at the opposite end. Tamo guna is at the opposite end. Now, that which prevents the decline of alertness even in the state of sleep is known as Sattva guna. Such is the augmented level of awareness that even when the body goes to sleep, you know, you are aware that the body is asleep. That awareness comes with Sattva guna. Remember that there is no awareness in the sleep, there will certainly be no awareness in the death. Isn't it? So, Shri Krishna says, under the influence of enhanced Sattva guna, there is augmented alertness, awareness in the senses and in the antakaran. Furthermore, the power of knowing, the faculty of knowing awakens in this very alertness, awareness. So there is a small story about Sant Eknath from Maharashtra. One rich person, he approached him and he said, how you can remain so well composed, calm, satisfied all the time? So Sant Eknath said, you come after 8 days, I will tell you. After 8 days when he came, Sant Eknath said, forget about your question. Yesterday I had a dream. I got a drishtanta yesterday and you are going to die in next 8 days. Oh my God, that fellow was shocked, shaken to the core. I'm going to die in next 8 days. He got nervous. He went home, collected all his relatives, friends, everybody, apologized to them, saying that sorry, whatever mistakes I might have done, I might have hurt you and all that. He disposed of all his property and all that, among his children, all that. Slowly he quietened down. After 8 days, he came to the Swami Eknath, Sant Eknath, and he said, tomorrow I'm going to die. Today is my last day. Sant Eknath said, how did you spend your last 8 days? No, I was busy and I was winding up. I was having peace of mind because I had nothing to do. In material world, I did not have to earn anything because I knew I'm going to die in 8 days. So why should I collect things then? Rather, I was disposing of things. Sant Eknath said, you are not going to die. You are going to have a long life, but live the life like this, as if you are going to die tomorrow. then all the lust, all desires will subside automatically and your mind will become still. The lesson to be learned from that small story was that let us keep our mind calm and still at all times. Then only we can pursue on this path of adhyatma, spirituality. Okay, further, slok number 12. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanamashava spruha tadasitani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshabho. Lobha, greed. Pravritti is the activity getting acted into something. Arambha is to try. Karmanam, in the activities in the karmas. Asham, uncontrollable. Spruha is desire. Rajasi, mode of good passion we know. Hitani, all this. Jayante is to develop. Vivruddhe is to, when there is an excess of that, increased. Bharatarshabha is Arjuna. So, augmented Rajoguna, it leads to greed. Lobha, Parvuttaramba, Karmanam, Ashvaspraha. Rajasyedana Jayante, Vivruddhe, Bharatarshabha. Augmented Rajoguna, it leads to greed, increased yearning for sensory pleasures, restless undertaking of actions for the fulfillment of kamana desires. So enhanced Rajoguna leads to increased selfishness. You don't do any action which is not in your own interest. That is what Rajoguna teaches us. Even seva you do because you want to show off. A selfish person's actions are performed with the intention of gaining something or the other. An egocentric person will do even charity with the aim of getting some merit, some punya. Whenever your bodily activities increase, your materialistic activity increase, whenever your pursuit for the sensory pleasure increases, know that Rajoguna has become augmented. You have become Rajoguni at that moment of time. That is why a seeker should always be vigilant. Which guna is getting dominant in me? Am I asking for too many things in the material life? Definitely my Rajoguna has augmented. I have to curb it. So our mind teaches us what way we should go. If the Rajoguna is getting predominant, then we know that this is too much. Excessive Rajoguna is going to cause us lobha. And this is not good. That's why we should always be vigilant. Say that if a thought of eating something arises in your mind, it should be carefully analyzed. And we should see that it is a desire or a necessity. Eating is a desire or a necessity. Eating because the mind longs for it, that item, and eating because of one is hungry are two different things. Only that particular food item is available. There is a great difference between the two. Eating for pleasure and eating for your body. One sage, he was desirous of eating a particular item, food item. And when the food item was served to him, he said, I will not eat it. When asked, why you are suppressing your mind? He replied, I am not suppressing, but rather I am awakening the mind. If today I give in to the mind's desire of eating this food item because mind is asking for it, then tomorrow I may succumb to the mind desires, whatever it desires. Tomorrow the mind may say, you rob this person, and I may rob that person. Tomorrow the mind will say, you kill that person, I may kill that person. I will not become slave of mind. Such a heightened level of awareness. See, there is no need for a sage to demonstrate such alertness, but he does so simply because being aware and alert has become a part of his nature. And if we want to march ahead on the path of spirituality, such awareness should become a part of our innate nature. What guna is getting dominant in me? Shri Krishna says, Rajoguna leads to rising of greed, increased longing for sensory gratification, getting egocentric, self-centered, getting selfish. Rajoguni person will be unable to understand these words properly. One needs to be Sattvaguni. We should be in the mode of Sattvaguna to understand this also. If we are in the mode of Rajoguna or Tamoguna, these words also will not be making any effect on us. So to enter into Sattvaguna and then listening these words will have a proper effect. If we are in the Rajoguna or Tamoguna and listening to these words, they will have no effect. There was a Sant, he used to say that, Lord, do not accept my worship if my worship has been done with the intention of attaining heaven. Don't accept my prayers if they have been done with the intention of being absolved of my sins. मुझे पाप से मुक्ति कर दो, इसलिए मैं आराधना कर रहा हूँ आपकी. Don't accept my request. Discard all my prayers that are laced with desires. When my prayers are tainted, don't accept them. When they are not tainted by any desire for heaven or for anything else in the life, then only accept my prayer, Lord. Now contrast this with our prayers. Majority of us, we pray only when we want something. On the other hand, a jnani prays not for getting anything. So let us stop here, and then we'll cover the next few shlokas in the next session. Now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Vikas Bhayaji. As always, the session is very, very enlightening, and you make it so interesting with relatable examples in the stories, and you highlighted how to use our body as an instrument and to do our karmas, and how to get in touch with the pure happiness that is always within us, which is not dictated by anything external to us. Thank you. And also the Sant Eknath Ji's story and the sage's story as well. Thank you. Before we take the questions, just a quick announcement. As you all know, a new L1 batch will be starting from tomorrow. That is Monday, June 10th. Geeta Pariwar has added 2 new slots. One is the Brahma Muhurta at 4 a.m. IST, along with another 9 a.m. Batch. Please do share the details of this class with your family and friends. Now it is time for the Q&A. We already have sadhakas with us. Pratibhaji Didi, you have a question. You can ask the question.
दीदी समापन प्रार्थना का है मेरा.
No, Didi, we will come to that after the question and answer.
जी दीदी, I have to offer समापन.
Yes, correct. Yeah, we will. Take you. And now, Anjaneyalu Bhayaji, you can ask the question. You can unmute and ask the question.
Jai Shri Krishna ji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I have understood Gunatraya means Sattva, Rajo, Tama.
Right.
That is Traya, Gunatraya. What is Shraddha Traya? How do you differentiate Shraddha Traya and Gunatraya?
Shraddha, the faith is also of 3 types. Sattvic faith, Rajasi faith, and Tamasi faith. What we discussed in 17th Adhyay. The food is of 3 types. Sattvic food, Rajasi food, Tamasi food. The yajnas that we perform are of 3 types. Sattva, Rajotamo. The tapas that we perform, Sattva, Rajotamo. So the Shraddha, it defines what kind of yajna we are performing, what kind of tapa we are doing, what kind of food we are eating. So that Shraddha was Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. Now this Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga is again explaining the same 3 gunas, but these 3 gunas, this Adhyaya is explaining how these 3 gunas are binding our Jivatma with the body. Those Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga was all external. Your food, your yajna, your tapa, your dana, charity. Charity can be 3 types. Sattva, Rajotamo. That was the topic of discussion of Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. The topic of discussion of Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga is little bit more serious. It explains how these 3 gunas, which are generated by the Prakriti, Sattva, Rajotamo, Prakriti is Trigunatmak, how we keep playing with these 3 gunas throughout our life, and how these 3 gunas keep a bondage of Jivatma with the body. And this bondage causes the Jivatma to again and again come to this cycle of birth and death. We'll discuss in the next session how to become Gunatit. In the introductory few lines, we discussed that to get moksha, one has to go beyond these 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajotamo. Because these 3 gunas, they are putting a bondage on you. Any kind of bondage, whether it is Sattva, Rajotamo, will force you to take the birth again. If you want to get rid of this birth and death cycle, you have to become Gunatit. You have to cross over all these 3 gunas. Don't be Sattva Guni, don't be Rajasi, don't be Tamasi. So Gunatit is the only way to attain moksha. So we'll discuss that also, how to become Gunatit. So the topic of discussion of Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga is about the bondage of these three gunas on the soul, on Jivatma, and how to get rid of this bondage and how to attain moksha. While Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga was all external, as I said. Food, yajna, tapa, dana, charity, all that. Three types of everything, activity that we perform.
Shraddha is related to practice and faith.
Shraddha is faith.
Guna is attributes.
Ah,
May I take like that?
Shraddha is faith.
Faith and Guna is attributes of a person.
Guna is attribute. Guna is attribute. Either Sattva, Rajo or Tamo.
Whereas Shraddha is related to faith, practicing.
Shraddha is related to faith. Yes.
Ajit Madhukar Bhayaji, you can unmute and ask the question.
Jai Shri Krishna, Bhayaji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
How to balance the gunas? Because only yogi can balance all these things. But how can a common man achieve this?
That is what this day is giving a training to us. When you wake up in the morning, start the morning with Om. Start with Sattvic, Sattva Guna. Okay. Yes. Then when you get into your activity of going to the office and doing some sakam karma so that you get paid salary for work that you are doing, you have to perform it to Rajasi Guna.
Yes.
So when to activate your Rajasi Guna, when to activate your Sattvic Guna, and when to activate your Tamasi Guna, because as we say, Pramad, Alasya and Nidra, they belong to Tamasi Guna. And the body definitely needs some rest. But if you lie down on a sofa set or a chair, it is Tamasi attribute. But the body does need that. The body does need sleep in the night, 6, 7, 8 hours. So that time you have to invoke your Tamasi Guna and suppress your Sattva and Raja Guna. So which Guna to be invoked and which Gunas to be suppressed is the art of living. That is what this Adhyaya teaches us, that you have to effectively use all the three Gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tamo. But while using these Gunas, mentally you have to go beyond these three Gunas. You don't have to get attached with any of these Gunas.
But it cannot be achieved in a very short period of time. You need to practice.
Definitely some sadhana. It will need many years of practice. That early in the morning, see, that's why our forefathers have taught us. Early in the morning, stand in front of Puja Ghar, say some prarthana here and there. So start your day with Sattva. Then you are going to get active in your Rajasi. Okay. In the evening again, you go back to Puja Ghar, say some Brahmaraksha or prarthana, again go back to Sattva, and then you take your dinner, Rajaguna, and then you go to sleep with Tamoguna. So these are this cycle which has been taught to us by our forefathers is already taking care of these three gunas. The only thing is we mix it with disproportionate things, and that is causing the problem. We try to suppress our Sattva Guna. Now, how many people of today's generation really wake up in the morning and say, Om? I don't know. They start the day with mobile. On the mobile, they will see our chat or videos. So that is not the way to start the day. You're starting your day with Rajasi or Tamasi.
Yes, ma'am. And Bhayaji, you mentioned about Yoga Nidra. Has it to be, should it be assisted Yoga Nidra or it can be achieved by self?
See, initially you have to learn it through some guru. Your yoga teacher should be with you to put you under Yoga Nidra. In Yoga Nidra, he will ask you to lie down in Shavasana and then he will start touching part by part. First head, then your face, then lips, then throat, then chest, lungs, everything. Then he will put rest each ailment, each indriya of your body.
Chakras or he will touch the chakras, Guruji?
He will touch the chakras also. So every part of body will be touched and then you will be put to rest. You will feel that everything is going to rest now. But mentally you will be still alert. It is not going to be sleep.
Yes.
Sleep with awareness. That is the beauty of Yoga Nidra. It is putting you totally stress-free. Mentally you become totally stress-free. Body-wise, you become stress-free, but mentally you are alert. You are alert about your surroundings. That is Yoga Nidra.
So it has to be assisted by a guru only. You cannot do it on your own.
First, and then when you learn the technique, then you can do it on your own. But 3-4 months technique is required to be learned. 3-4 months are required to learn this technique through a yoga teacher, and then you can do it on your own.
Jai Shri Krishna, Guruji.
Jai Shri.
Umaji Didi, you can unmute and ask the question. Umaji Didi, can you hear us? You can unmute and ask the question, Didi. Okay. Yeah, actually, there is one more question from Sadhaka named Prabha Uday Shankar ji. And Prabhaji, if you are in the session, you can ask the question, because it says guesting will be discussed, which Gunatit. Okay. Gunatit, yes, will be discussed in which chapter? Yeah.
Gunatit, there are a good number of shlokas in this adhyaya which we'll discuss in the next session. How to achieve that status of becoming Gunatit. Because that is a condition of getting moksha. If the condition of getting moksha is becoming Gunatit, how to become Gunatit? So that also will be explained by Lord Krishna, that we'll learn in the next session.
Yes, I hope, Didi, that answered your question. Any other questions from the sadhakas? Otherwise, we will move towards concluding today's session. Okay. I would like to take a minute to thank Vikas, Vaidya ji, Bhaiya ji for such an interactive session and enlightening as well as always. And all our Gita sadhakas who made this session so interactive. And our technical assistant of the day, Suresh Vyas Bhaiya ji, and our technical team, all the Gita trainers, mentors, sevis, and the devotees. Please do continue your Gita sadhana and attend the sessions regularly to enrich the spiritual knowledge. Let us say the prayer and thank Bhagavan Shri Krishna for guiding us all along and making this session successful. To do the prayer, we have Srimati Pratibha Ghaiji with us, and she is a retired senior bank manager from Rajpura, Punjab. She is interested in teaching. She joined Gita Pariwar in September 2022, and she has been serving as a trainer since March 2023 and is eager to serve as a content writer for the Vivechana sessions as well. Jai Shri Krishna, Pratibha ji. I request you to say the prayer.
Jai Shri Krishna. Yogesham Satsidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you, Pratibha ji, for the beautiful prayer. Now, before we conclude the session, let us all recite Hanuman Chalisa and seek the blessings of Lord Hanuman ji.
Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nija Manu Mukuru Sudhari Barana Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari बुद्धिहीन तनु जानके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंजित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन जग बंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंह दिखावा बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जल दिलांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
जय हनुमान, जय श्री राम, जय श्री कृष्ण। सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु। सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम तत्सत। Wishing you all a very happy and blessed week ahead. Thank you.